Loose Women's star Gloria Hunniford's awful health scare that led to emergency surgery. The Rip-Off Britain star was diagnosed with kidney stones. Loose Women's star Gloria Hunniford opened up about the time she was rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. After the 85-year-old was diagnosed with kidney stones, she had to undergo a series of surgeries, one of which led to another unprecedented health scare following general anesthesia. Recalling the experience, she said, "The last thing they said before I went into the theater was, 'When I take this stent out, you are going to feel so much better.'" The Rip-Off Britain star continued, "But the next thing I knew coming out of the anesthetic was a nice saying to me, 'Don't worry, don't panic, but we are having to transfer you by ambulance to a different hospital because we can't get your blood pressure up.'" After being moved from the hospital in Maidstone to another accident and emergency ward nearby, Gloria's energy was completely depleted. "It was like somebody had put a tap in my body and just drained all the energy," she revealed. Though the doctors later identified that the cause of her severe symptoms was kidney sepsis, the infection had fortunately not yet spread beyond her kidney. Reflecting on the toll that the incident took on her, the Loose Women legend said, "I guess that's why I felt so awful, and it did flatten me for a while." She also opened up about the strenuous recovery period in which she spent the majority of her time resting up, with low energy and little appetite. Medical professionals said it could take up to 6 months to return to what one would deem normality after 2 anesthetics so close together. Gloria Hunniford's difficult year. The beloved Loose Women pain list has not had an easy year. After the tragic passing of her husband Stephen Way in August 2024, just a year after the couple's 25th wedding anniversary, Gloria paid tribute to her kind and caring husband, stating that Stephen was a gentleman and a giant of a man who will leave the most enormous void not only in my life, but our entire family. He was an incredibly kind, generous, and caring man, with a delightfully quirky sense of humor, which remained till the end. She concluded, "We had a tremendously happy 25-year marriage and did so many beautiful and exciting things together that I will always cherish." Shocking celebrity health scare. Loose Women's Gloria Hunniford's awful emergency ordeal. The world of daytime television was left reeling after beloved Loose Women star and broadcasting veteran, Gloria Hunniford, shared the harrowing details of a life-threatening health scare that culminated in a terrifying emergency dash to the hospital. The ordeal, which she described as awful, so the normally indefatigable presenter struck down by a fast-moving, deadly infection just weeks before her eventual return to our screens. The initial diagnosis, kidney stones and routine surgery. The terrifying chain of events began innocuously enough. Towards the end of 2022, Gloria, known for her candid honesty and fighting spirit, was diagnosed with kidney stones. While painful, the condition is relatively common and treatable. She underwent an initial surgery to address the stones and had a stent inserted, a routine procedure to aid in the drainage of the kidney. 3 weeks later, she was scheduled for a second, seemingly simple, operation, the removal of the stent. It was a step she believed would mark the end of her discomfort and the beginning of her full recovery. "The last thing they said before I went to theater was, 'When I take this stent out, you are going to feel so much better,'" Gloria later recalled, highlighting the optimism that surrounded the procedure. A frightening post-operative turn. Blood pressure plummets. The relief she anticipated, however, was violently snatched away. The moment Gloria woke up from the general anesthesia, a scene of panic unfolded around her. It was not the gentle transition back to consciousness she had expected, but an immediate and alarming crisis. "But the next thing I knew coming out of the anesthetic was a nice saying to me, 'Don't worry, don't panic, but we are having to transfer you by ambulance to a different hospital because we can't get your blood pressure up,'" she recounted on Loose Women, the shock still evident in her voice as she revisited the moment. Her blood pressure had plummeted to a dangerously low level, a critical sign that her body was in catastrophic distress. The gravity of the situation hit instantly. An emergency ambulance transfer, typically reserved for the most urgent, life-threatening cases, was required to get her to an A&E unit that could handle her rapidly declining condition. The deadly truth, diagnosis of kidney sepsis, Rushed from the initial Maidstone hospital to a nearby emergency department, doctors fought to stabilize the star. What followed was the devastating confirmation of a silent, yet deadly, foe: kidney sepsis. Sepsis, often referred to as blood poisoning, is the body's overwhelming and life-threatening response to an infection. It is a medical emergency where the infection-fighting process turns on the body, causing the organs to work poorly and, tragically, leading to organ failure and death if not treated immediately. Gloria's feeling of total debilitation suddenly made sense. Reflecting on the period before the emergency transfer, she said, "It was like somebody had put a tap in my body and just drained all the energy." This profound, all-encompassing fatigue was the initial, terrifying sign that her body was fighting a desperate battle against the septic infection. "I guess that's why I felt so awful, and it did flatten me for a while," she admitted. The relief, however, came from the miraculous news that the infection had not spread beyond the kidney. This fortunate containment likely saved her life, preventing the infection from sweeping through her other vital organs. The long road to recovery, 6 months to normality. The fight against the sepsis infection and the toll of 2 general anesthetics in quick succession left Gloria severely weakened. Medical professionals warned her that her recovery would be neither quick nor easy. They advised her that it could take up to 6 months to return to what one would deem normality. During this period, the usually vibrant and energetic broadcaster was forced to slow down entirely, spending most of her time resting and sleeping. She battled a significant loss of appetite and chronic low energy levels that made even simple daily tasks an insurmountable challenge. Initial prognosis: up to 6 months for full recovery. Key symptoms: total energy drainage, loss of appetite, and chronic fatigue. The sepsis danger: a silent killer with symptoms often mistaken for the flu. The power of attitude and family support. Yet, for anyone who knows Gloria Hunniford, an extended break from life's challenges is simply not in her nature. A woman who has faced profound personal tragedy, including the devastating loss of her daughter Karen Keating to cancer at the age of 41, Gloria possesses an unshakable resilience. She refused to be defined by her illness and, in her typical fighting fashion, began setting herself small, manageable goals for recovery. "I set myself little tasks, and my husband, Stephen, was marvelous," she shared, acknowledging the critical role her beloved husband, Stephen Way, played during her convalescence. "He was chief cook and bottle washer, and my whole wonderful family rallied round." This unwavering support system proved invaluable. Despite the medical professional's 6-month prognosis, Gloria, a true force of nature, was back on television within weeks. Her sheer willpower and determination, coupled with the loving care of her family, allowed her to make a truly remarkable comeback. She proudly declared that she has since regained about 98% of her energy, a testament to her strength. A life lesson from the loose woman. Gloria's candid sharing of her awful health scare serves as more than just a shocking celebrity news story. It is a vital public health message. Sepsis is often difficult to detect because its symptoms can be vague and mimic other common illnesses. Gloria's experience, the severe drop in blood pressure and the feeling of complete energy drainage, is a chilling reminder of how quickly this life-threatening condition can take hold. Her final message is one of enduring resilience, a philosophy she carries after decades in the public eye. "We all know that stuff will be thrown at you, and it's how you deal with things," she reflected. For the viewers, the sheer shock of learning how close the beloved star came to a catastrophic outcome only intensified the relief of seeing her back in her chair, providing her signature warmth and sharp wit to the Loose Women panel.